and thank you for being with us. Kia ora, welcome to the Justice Select Committee. You have your 5 minutes and you can structure that any way you want, but you can assume that we've read your submission. I'll raise a hand when you get to 4 minutes.
Okay, thank you.
Just in case you want to pause, but to questions, but you don't have to.
Thank you. Well, good afternoon, and thank you all for this opportunity. I'm speaking to you as a lesbian, as a mother and a grandmother, and I'm very opposed to this legislation in its current form. I'm particularly concerned about the effect of the bill on children and adolescents, many of whom would grow up to be lesbians, or are indeed lesbians already. Gender identity claims by children and teens require support, exploration and discussion, not immediate affirmation. I believe that parents and teachers and counsellors and other trusted adults must assist the young person to explore what transgender means. Exploration is not conversion. Our gay and lesbian children and young people are experiencing active intervention to make them something other than what they are. They're under the illusion that a transgender identity will relieve them of the pain and distress they feel. There is absolutely no evidence that this is the case. In fact, the evidence shows that the reverse is true. When offered love and support and accepted for who they are, young people thrive as the sex they are in the bodies they have. In no other area of physical or mental health are practitioners required to respond to a self-diagnosed condition with unquestioning affirmation, with medication and/or surgery. Gender identity is a subjective feeling. It is not an objective reality. It reflects a belief system rather than science, and it denies the reality and the importance of the material reality of sex. This bill, as it stands, will prevent health practitioners and others from addressing the root causes of gender confusion in children. I do not believe any society should support damaging, experimental and irreversible treatments on young people, and this is the inevitable end result of the affirm-only approach, and this is what we are now doing in Aotearoa, New Zealand. On the other hand, research consistently shows that with a watch and wait approach, 80 to 90% of gender-confused children become comfortable with their biological sex after puberty. So why would we not watch and wait and allow children to grow out of gender dysphoria naturally? I believe that gender identity and gender expression must be recognised as completely different from sexual orientation, and they should not be linked in this bill. Accepting someone's sexual orientation essentially means leaving them alone to be who they are. The young person has space and permission to explore their orientation, which may or may not change over time. In contrast, accepting someone's gender identity when it's in conflict with their biological sex means accepting medical and surgical intervention to change their bodies, and it denies them the opportunity to explore who they are before they start on a path of lifelong medication and irreversible changes to their bodies. Gender identity can change over time, but for the young person who's been denied the opportunity to explore and has started down the medical and/or surgical path, it's too late. During the drafting of this bill, there was consultation with what are known as rainbow groups. The rainbow communities are many and varied and do not have a unified position on all matters which affect them, or us. Many gender-critical lesbians, gays and transsexuals no longer feel included or represented by rainbow groups, and consultation with these groups excludes our perspectives. There has been no consultation at all with gender-critical groups in relation to this bill, and Georgina Bayer has made the very important point that there's a danger when the perspectives of some people who have a stake in the outcome of legislation are included in the consultation process, while others also with a stake in the outcome are excluded. So I am, of course, against gay conversion therapy aiming to change people's sexual orientation, and I support the bill in this regard. However, there is no evidence at all that there's actually any need for it right now. The lack of information about the nature and extent of the problem that this bill is designed to solve is referred to multiple times in the regulation impact assessment. If there are anecdotal reports of problems, then research is needed to determine the nature and extent and the best way to respond to them.
Thank you very much, Margaret. We're actually at time now. So thank you very much for your submission. I'm afraid we're going to have to stop there and move on.
Okay.
Have a pleasant afternoon.
Thank you.
Our next